Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Elmer, the forklift guy. This is Ramon, my mechanic. So today we got something interesting for you guys. It's the first time for me. We replaced the head gasket on this Caterpillar with the K25 engine because it overheated like several times, pretty bad. And so we took it to the machine shop. They resurfaced it. We did valve lapping on it. We changed the valve seals, obviously the head gasket, put new gaskets all around. And then in a matter of like 1 or 2 days, it started overheating again, and the oil was mixed with coolant. So we're like, bro, what the heck? Did we do something wrong? Did we torque the head wrong? So we came back, and as soon as we took the valve cover off and we pressurized the radiator to see if we saw any coolant leaks inside of the chamber, the cylinders, and we saw that the head was cracked, and I'll show you where here in a second. There's the new head. The crack was it's like a big long crack around here. The system was pressurized. Yeah. You would see it bubbling through here, so all the coolant was basically mixing through. Yeah. First time I ever seen that happen. Alright, so if you come here closer, you'll see the crack right here. Starts here. Yeah. Comes all the way across like that. You're seeing the black mark right there. You see the bubbles right there? Yeah. So essentially, when you pressurize the radiator, all the water was escaping through here, right, and then mixing with the oil like super quickly. Look how much water is in there. This is first time I've ever seen this before, but it obviously happens. You have a cast iron block, and you have an aluminum head. So whenever there's a overheat situation, right, metals expand and contract with heat and cold. And when it's difference of metals, aluminum and cast iron together, or iron block, whatever you want to call it, that tends to happen a lot. So aluminum is more fragile, so it tends to break easier. So it overheated like who knows how many times before they called us to come fix it. They just said, hey, this has overheated, and it's mixing coolant with the oil, right? So when that happened, this blown head gasket. Yeah. So I came and looked at it, and in fact, the oil was mixed with coolant. It needed a water pump, and I didn't know this, but they had removed the thermostat already. So it had overheated so many times that they removed the thermostat, thinking that maybe the thermostat is stuck closed and it's not letting coolant pass through. And they said that helped for a little bit, and then overheated again. So who knows how many times it overheated. And that's what cracked the head. But you can't really see it with your eyes, right? So when you take the head off and you don't see anything underneath, right? Usually what I check is the surface, the head, between the head and the block, and that's where I look for cracks. If I don't see any cracks, how are you gonna see a crack in between the head or even on top? We took it to the machine shop. They never said anything either. They just resurfaced it, cleaned it. We noticed it because on the top of the valve where the valve cover is, there should never be any water there. It should only, if it does pass through, it should be passing to the bottom, to the cylinders. We noticed that there was coolant on top, and we're like, what the heck? Why is there coolant on top and not? If it is passing, why is it not passing to the bottom? So then, that's when we pressurized the system, and I noticed the bubbles. I was like, what the hell? So right now we're just taking the studs where the intake and exhaust manifold goes into and putting them on here. We're taking the 2 studs for the valve cover, and then this is your coolant temperature sensor housing. It's gonna go, I think, on the other side. Yeah. And then your thermostat housing goes on the other side again. So we're just taking everything off of the old head and putting it on the new head. We got new head bolts too. head gasket, valves. We calibrated the valves to 0.38, which is what the manual recommends, and it's what it says here too. Valve lash is 0.38 millimeters when it's hot, but anybody got time for that? We put the new thermostat in. We're just getting everything kind of tidied up again. We torqued the head down. Manual calls for 14, then 51, then loosen them up again, then 51. We used the old head bolts because these new ones, aftermarket, we didn't like the fixed washer on the head. I like the ones that have the washer around, and you would tighten it, and the bolt was spinning, but my tech angle was like it was going from like 40 to 41, and this was spinning way too much. You know, it wasn't going up. So I think these bolts were stretching. So we used the old ones because they're OEM, and it worked great. Put the valve cover on now. Now we're just putting everything kind of back around it. Put oil in it. We'll run it for a little bit. Change the oil again. We'll put coolant. That's about it. That's the only thing left to do. All right, so we're just running it now. We're waiting for it to get hot to running temperature. Making sure there's no more coolant leaks anywhere. Making sure that we don't see any coolant in the oil or anything like that. So we're just gonna wait a little bit. Last time it didn't have a thermostat, now it does. So it's heating up way quicker now. It's almost at halfway now, so that's good. Yeah, I just gotta triple check everything, double check everything, because once we give it to the customer, like, you know, I don't want to have to come back and they're gonna be like, hey, this is leaking coolant or something like that. You know, we want to get everything done now before we give it to the customer, and that way we cover all our bases, and you know, they're happy and we're happy. So yeah, we're gonna run it for a while, maybe 20-30 minutes. We'll run it up and down. We'll pick some stuff up, turn it off, check for leaks, do the same thing again, and then check the oil periodically to make sure there's no coolant in the oil. And yeah, off to the next job. Burning up, hallelujah, I'm burning up. Looking good. Temperature staying good. Yeah, temperature staying good temperature staying good right below half, which is where it's supposed to be. Right there. Yep. And now in a matter of 5-10 minutes, the temperature was already up. So before I drove it for like almost 30 minutes, and it would have just be barely
right. Well, that day you left, I drove it around for a long time.
It never went up that high. Most of the time what goes bad is the forward and reverse drum. A lot of the time the splines inside just wear out from going forward and back too much. And then after that, no matter what you do, it's not going to go anywhere. And usually torque converters, they rarely go bad. It's almost always either the drum or the clutch packs.
How many more you doing?
¿Ahora se quitó?
Sí. ¿Me costó mío?
Esto, ¿tú compraste en eBay seguros?
80 pesos. Amazon.
Yeah. So, the way you check codes. You go to turn the key switch on, and you see this little light here? Yeah. Alright. And you just hold this button here. Hold this button down until you get your code. So it's 523906. Now I'm saying that on Friday here, I was checking this. It wasn't until I got home that I was checking the service manual for the schematics, and that's when I realized that the starter circuit passes through the fuel pump relay. it's just getting stuck closed or open. So I pulled this, come over here, I pulled this code. Electrical fuel pump open load.
Yeah.
So when you turn the key, the ECU has to read, in a matter of like seconds, it has to read signal to the fuel pump, or else it'll throw you this code. And that was the only active code. So then I went home and I looked at the service manual after checking everything, checked the starter, checked the fuel level, because sometimes when the fuel level is low, it won't let you crank so that it doesn't get air in the system. Checked all fuses, and I didn't check this relay here, which was on the circuit for the electric fuel pump, which is here. Yeah, Ramon figured it out pretty quick.
¿Verdad? Sí mismo.
Here, I'll show you the schematic here so that people can have an idea. Might be a little hard to see, but fuel pump is here. Fuel pump, starter. Okay, fuel pump goes up and it goes to 12 volt 30 amp, which is this one. 12 volt 30 amp, and then your fuel pump, which is relay, which is K12, is here, and that's this one. And that circuit comes down and it goes, you have to follow it over here, and it goes back to your relay card, and then your ECU, which is right here. But see, I didn't realize that until I got home, but here it tells you fuses and relay, engine box, right? There it is. Fuel pump fuse F1, which is here, and then your fuel pump relay, which is KO2, it's right here. Looks like since this is dangling, it might just be might have to tape it up somewhere.
Alright, go on, man.
Ready?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something. If you're watching this after New Year's, Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. And spend time with your family. God bless.
Yeah.
See?
Nada.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need parts for your forklift, material handling equipment, talk to Tanner at MHS
Yeah.
in Georgia. Bye.
Dime algo, Ramón.
Poco. Uy, sí.
En español, ¿sabes?
No, tranquilo, todo bien. Todo good.
Everything good.
Everything good.